grade on the field trip to Rice's Pit. One of my fondest memories, well, I have two fondest memories. The other was the preschool trip to Bluebird Gap Farm. But anyway, I used to dig in my backyard. I grew up in off the Fork River in Dippy, and there were always so many shells. So I just assumed every kid wanted to be an archaeologist and would dig. So I came back on the bus with this gem for Rice's Pit.
Oh, wow.
And every kid who had all been doing what you said, sliding their bums up and down that hill all that day and couldn't find anything, said that, oh, you didn't get that, you must have bought it in her gift shop. So I just wanted to share, thank you.
Is that the Jeffersonia, is that the state fossil?
Yeah.
That's a scholar.
Yeah, the scholar. All right. That's, well, wonderful. All right, this is great. Sir?
Yeah, did you want to mention anything about the catfish pond that was there on the property?
Oh, yeah,
and the chain? You didn't talk about that.
They had made a holding pond so that at night they would pump the pit out and it would go up into the holding pond, which was near the museum. And I guess as the birds flew over, they had dropped these fish in there, and these eggs had hatched, and there was catfish in there, and I'm not exaggerating, as long as my arm. And they were Mr. Rice's pride and joy. So as soon as the kids came in, the first thing he would say was, if you don't eat all your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I'll show you my catfish. Well, naturally, the kids would stop eating, and he would go to the fence, and he would rattle a chain. And these catfish would actually swim up by the gate, and the kids could throw their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That would tickle him to death. As audience captive.
Jane told me that she was not used to speaking, but I think she's a natural. Bill, I'll give you another chance here. You got something you want to tell us?
She does all the time.
Bill's learned his secret. It takes a lot of us a long time to learn. Other stories about Rice's fossil pit. Other stories. Other stories. Man, oh, there she is. Go ahead, Laura.
I just remember when I was a kid, I remember going to the fossil pit. And then over the years, you know, you forget about these things, and then eventually they'll come back and like, I know when I was growing up, we went to a fossil pit, but I couldn't remember where it was. So I started asking people, and I'm like, well, maybe it was in Williamsburg or Georgetown or somewhere. I just remember it seemed like it took us a long time to get there. So I went online, I was trying to find out information, and so eventually there was a group on Facebook. They were talking about the fossil pit and bringing up memories. And then when I saw that they were going to have this seminar tonight, you know, I had to come. So they just brought back all memories.
Well, I was going to say, when the Daily Press reporter interviewed him, one of the things he said was, what did you think when you first saw the pit? Well, when Bill and I were going together, and we went, you go down what was Willow Oaks Boulevard, and you look over there and you just see the trees and stuff. So then you go down Harris Creek Road, and as you rode down past his dad's shop and everything, again, it was just plain land, where you walked a little bit further, and all of a sudden, you're looking down into this 70-foot pit, and you really did. You felt like you were almost in prehistoric times. You really did.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can. Go ahead. Stand up.
Did the Smithsonian paleontologists, did they come down regular, or did they just make that one trip to
There were several that came down on a regular basis. One of them was Dr. Johnson. He studied the winged scallop, I think it was. But an angel wing is what it was. It was called an angel wing. And he came down here, and he said that they were the most perfectly preserved fossils he had ever found. So he would come down on a regular basis. And about 5 years ago, he came down and presented Bill and I with a book that he had written. And in there it's mentioned, the Rices are mentioned about 5 times in the book, that's where he got his very best specimens.
Wow. You know, we think about our history and all the great things that happened in Hampton. We tend to think in the realm of hundreds of years, maybe a couple of thousand years with the Native Americans. But boy, for Rice's fossil pit, it's a grand sweep into the past. It's hard for us to imagine the days when whales swam where we are now. Other question, let me ask you this. Why is everybody here tonight? There's so many people here and we're so happy. But what's interesting about Rice's fossil pit? What fascinates you about it? Huh? It's local?
Back to the theater.
Huh?
I had a question.
Go ahead, okay, what? Go ahead, sir, and then you know.
I was curious, obviously, if this area was covered with the water, as we stated, are there other pits? Have there been other diggings?
There was one in Yorktown, it was called the Zooks Pit, but they did not have the fossils because, like I said, they said that this area here was the deepest part of the ocean at that time. Yes, ma'am?
And, in 1996, out at NASA, they were digging a trench for a drainage pipe, and they uncovered a 30-foot skeleton of a baleen whale. Must have been around the same time period as this.
Like I said, because Mr. Rice, he did the landfill for the lunar landing. So
Yeah.
like I said, when he was hauling a lot of the dirt out, he never stopped to see what was in the dirt. They would just dump truckloads of it and then smooth it out and go on.
Yeah, I worked out there. I mean, I work out there now, but I worked out there when they were excavating, and it was really odd because they were digging the trench, and then they started putting like pieces of the spine, and so they had the whole spine.
There was
Like,
that much of it?
yeah, it was like the whale had died there or something. I don't know, but anyway, that one I think went to William and Mary. They found that in '96.
In yesterday's paper, Mark St. John did one of the best articles I've ever read on the pit. I mean, he really did a lot of research. And he even talked to one of the doctors up there now, and some of the bones that they're going back and studying, they have actually found that there are different type of whales in the pit, and there's not just this one that they named. It was the beluga ricei is the one that's up there now. But there was other types of whales up there, I mean, in the pit.
Shelby listed. Shelby, stand up and talk to us.
Well, I just had an exciting experience a couple of weeks ago on Todd's Lane. I went over to visit a friend who has chickens, and he has lots of chicken pens, and we went in, was walking around looking at the chickens, and I looked down on the ground, and I'm seeing fossils on the ground, all stuck in the dirt with chicken. Well, chicken's been walking over them and everything. And so I said, oh my gosh, Billy, there's fossils here. Where did you get this dirt? And he said, well, years ago he had dirt brought in from Wolf Trap Road. I think that's in Grafton area. And it's been years. And so I said, could I please dig up some of these fossils? So they were a little messy, but I got hands full of fossils. They were like tube worms and the spirally things. And so, but I was so excited because I thought I'd found a fossil pit I could dig, but at least I got some fossils.
Spirally things are called tortellas.
Ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for your presentation. I'm Mary Ellen. I'm here with the Peninsula Gem and Mineral Society. And I've had people ask me at our presentations about Rice's Pit, and I didn't have a lot of familiarity with it, and I wanted to come to learn more about it, and I'm really glad I came, and really to learn a lot about it so that we could share with our club members as well. So thank you for your great presentation.
They used to come into the pit, and Ms. Rice and them, a lot of times she would give them shells, and they would give her different minerals and rocks and stuff, and she would make jewelry, like little rings and stuff for the children.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about that, and a lot of our members are here tonight too, so thank you all for inviting us. Thank you.
Other questions, sir?
What happened
Stand up.
What happened to the articles that were in the museum?
Well, it's sort of a sad story. Several people broke into the museum. A lot of the antique area that they had set up was stolen, and so they did not recover some of it. And then some of the kids started coming in and breaking up the showcases, and that's when Gloria Day decided that they were divided up between the History Museum and the Living Museum, so the shells have been preserved through there.
Kathy Hernandez, do you want to stand, Kathy? Kathy actually brought this to our attention to the museum, and was a real heroine here, and we went over, and many of those, go ahead. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. I know you're going to get me now.
Yeah.
But we went over, the museum went over, and we picked up some really nice specimens for our collection, and many of them are going to be in the new exhibit, which opens Saturday. Anybody else? These are all good questions.
I heard it. When did you start